Okay, moving straight along to Mr. Barr, talk about Citigroup in Brazil getting hacked. I thought that Citigroup had no money, so anyway, why hack it?
Yeah, I guess you can just annoy them. Regardless of whether they have any money, you can just annoy them to death. That's sort of the plan here, because they're not trying to take anything from them. They're just trying to keep people from spending quality time on the Citibank website, which is obviously frustrating to a lot of people who like to spend as much time as they can on the Citibank website. There's a lot of very interesting things on there. And
so this group is called Anonymous Brazil, according to the story.
Yeah.
Are they affiliated at all with the anonymous hacking group that's been making waves over the past year or so?
Yeah, but I'm not sure that we know the answer to that at this point. I think it's always hard to know exactly who these people are. Obviously, I think they're calling themselves anonymous because they will cause people to ask that question.
Yeah.
But in terms of whether there's an actual affiliation or whether there is even any group that's actually doing any of this, or if it's just some guy in his basement, basically.
Did this cause major disruption to Citigroup in Brazil, or is this just, as you said, an irritation?
I mean, I think everything we know so far is that it's more of the irritation rather than some horrendous thing that happened. I mean, obviously these banks put up these websites and they want their customers to be able to use them. Mm-hmm. So it's bad for them.
You wouldn't know that
sense.
from some websites of banks, though, would you?
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. Yeah, no, right. There is always that question. Why did they do it this way? Is a question that comes up sometimes. But these guys also seem to have attacked HSBC the other day, and so then there's a question: are they going to attack someone somewhere else tomorrow or next week? This kind of thing is becoming more of a headache for the banks, and the banks are not universally loved. Let's say the banks have their critics here and there, and so this is the kind of thing we're going to.
I think maybe
here, there, and everywhere, right? So we're going to see this kind of thing happen, and the banks try to deal with it. But if someone's set on annoying you, they can often accomplish it, or at least this is my experience.
So we don't know yet if it's malicious. It's just an annoyance.
No, but it's malicious. I mean, there's no. They're not doing it to
they're
generate
not saying,
goodwill.
Oh, here's a loophole. Yeah, right. Well, let's point it out to you.
I think we can safely say it's malicious. It's just that we don't think that it has any impact on their business, right? I mean, that they have customers who want to go to the site, and maybe this causes some of the customers to say, "This is annoying. Maybe I should close my account." But we don't know that that's true. And since there are so many attacks on the other banks too, it's not like there's any bank out there that people are joining hands humming about boy, I love having my money there. So
right.
there's a certain aspect of that.
This is happening, it seems, increasingly. Financial services companies and other institutions as well. These hackers are really, in a sense, outsmarting more established organizations. What needs to be done at this point to sort of get ahead of the game for these companies?
I think they spend a certain amount of time asking themselves that question. I think obviously they haven't come up with the answer. And the reality is that any technology you can roll out, if there's somebody out there with a certain amount of skill who says to themselves, what I'm going to do is go disrupt this thing, it is possible to do it. So I mean, it's a difficult question for them, not to take too sympathetic a stance toward the banks. I mean, the banks obviously, there are reasons that people don't like them. Simon, you and I are not here to discuss that, but.
We can discuss that later. We can discuss that later, but just not on this show.
No, not on the show.
Probably over the road in Langham later. Anyway, thank you very much, Colin Barr of the Wall Street Journal.